Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a return to the channel today for the great Aspartagcus, Aaron Day, an absolutely brilliant setter. One of the setters, and there seem to be a lot of them, whose brains work in the most peculiar ways. And what Aaron has created here, apparently he started working on in 2021, so that's quite a long time ago, and has been steadily sort of improving the grid ever since. It's called fillomino Sudoku, and reading the rules, it's probably the purest hybrid of Sudoku and fillomino that I've ever seen. The rules are very short, and I have an example grid as well that I was able to snip from Logic Masters. This puzzle is very popular, so it's going to be good fun, I am sure. I'm not sure about the difficulty. There were one or two comments on Logic Masters suggesting it starts off very easy but gets a bit tougher. So that's quite an unusual difficulty curve, but we'll have a go in a moment or two's time. Now, what have I got to tell you about on this Friday, the end of the tax year here in the UK? I can tell you that there is a crossword video that I recorded earlier on. Quite a difficult times crossword today, so if you enjoy learning about how to solve cryptic crosswords, that might be up your street. I have been uploading my latest foray on Islands of Insight to the internet, but the file is so massive it was doing it overnight and then paused itself. That will actually, by the time this video is live, that should be up on Patreon. So if you're following in my adventure on that great game, there's another 2-hour slug of that over there now. Also over on Patreon, of course, we've got the James Bond Sudoku hunt that so many of you have been enjoying. That is over there too. We haven't got a date yet for our next streaming. Hopefully we will stream again next week. But I do have some birthdays I'd like to read out. So we'll start off with Alan, who turned 48 earlier this week. And I know this because Alan's wife Sarah wrote to us and told us that Alan is apparently one of the biggest fans of the channel, but she did write a couple of days late. I think Alan's birthday was Wednesday, and so Sarah asked if I could save her marriage by doing a late birthday announcement. Very happy to do that. Alan, I hope you had a brilliant birthday, and many happy returns, and I hope it was replete with chocolate cake, and Sarah is very sorry. Next, FJ. FJ, it's your birthday, and apparently you are a Pokemon streamer based in Ireland. I'd have to say, I don't know much about Pokemon. I sort of wish I did, because I think I could get into Pokemon, but I don't know anything about Pokemon. But you are a Pokemon streamer, and I'm not sure this can be right. You're having chocolate lasagna to celebrate your birthday instead of cake. What nonsense is this? But anyway, some of your sort of chat/Discord followers have asked for this announcement. So this announcement is from Arbins, Inter, Rika Moryu, Teach, Tin, and the rest of your chat Discord. So FJ, many happy returns. Now another Sarah over there in Quebec has turned 20 today, and I know this because your friend Elsa wrote to us, and I think that your roommates, I might be wrong, but I think I'm right about that. And apparently there will be chocolate cake. So Sarah, many happy returns. I hope you have a great day today. And then finally, Stuart has turned 42 today, and I know this because your wife Nikki wrote to us, Stuart, and claimed that you watch every video religiously, and assured me there will also be chocolate cake for you. So it sounds like, well, apart from the chocolate lasagna, it's a good day for most birthdays today. Many happy returns to all of you. Let us turn our attention to Aspartagus's latest. These are the rules. Sudoku, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply, which means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. And then we've got fillomino. Divide the grid into regions of orthogonally connected cells. Orthogonally connected just means they share an edge. So those cells are orthogonally connected. those cells are not orthogonally connected because this one doesn't share an edge with any of the others. So now they're orthogonally connected again. That's all orthogonally connected means. Two regions of the same size may not share an edge. So that's normal fillomino rules. So that means, let's say that that was a size 4 region. You couldn't have another size 4 region touching this region orthogonally because that's too naughty for words and would mean you've got the puzzle wrong. Each region must contain at least one circle, which is... Okay, no, because we could have more than one circle in a region. Okay, I was going to say that's going to mean all of the regions are quite small in the puzzle. But no, each region must contain at least one circle, and circles must contain the digit equal to the size of the regions they are in. So, imagine that we drew that region. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be a 6. Now, imagine we got rid of that cell then, and we added that cell, then I think that would also be of size 6, is what I'm sort of grokking now. Because this, we'd have 2 circles in this region. What we couldn't do is, say, do that, and this is a size 6 region, and then write any other digit other than 6 into this square, because the circle in this region needs to contain its size. So what that's going to do is mean that we can't... I'm going to have to be careful. What that's telling us effectively is that those 2 circles can't be in the same region, I think. But do have a go. Oh no, hang on. Before we kick off, let's just have a look at this example puzzle and see if we can understand it. So this is a 4x4 puzzle. Now... Okay, so that 2 in row 1, column 2 is a size 2 region. So that's sort of a region. This is a 1 in the corner. That sort of makes sense because it can't grow anywhere. And then this has to be at least a size 3 region because it sees a 1 and a 2 in its... Oh, but hang on. Yeah. I wonder why that couldn't do that at the start. Oh, I'm not sure. But anyway, I can see that this grid works. I'm just not sure how one will go about solving it logically. But that's sort of the point of these videos, isn't it? We have to discover these things for ourselves. Anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I think I'm right in saying normally when I've had circles puzzles recently, I've sort of counted the circles, but that's not going to work in this puzzle, is it? Let's say there were 30 circles. That means nothing, I think. I don't think it means anything. I think what we're going to be better doing is finding dense collections of circles. So I'm looking at this square and I'm thinking that must be a 1, because if this was any larger than 1, if it grows in any direction, the circle it hits would have to contain the same digit as this one would contain, because they would be in a region of the same size, and that is going to break Sudoku. So I'm fairly confident that has to be a 1. Yeah, and the same must be true here. Again, it can't grow anywhere without hitting a circle that would see itself by Sudoku, or nearly. No, that could just get out, can't it? What about that? That must be a 1 as well. There's another 1 there. So maybe we have to do Sudoku. Aspartagcus, that would be most outrageous if I... Oh. No, if I have to do Sudoku terribly early. I don't know. Alright, so we should fence off these fillomino regions, shouldn't we? Let's do that. It's always a treat we get to do. I'm going to colour them as well. There we go. So everything that touches these size 1 regions is bigger than size 1. That's the next thing we could say. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this square. Because that square, let's give it a colour. Where does that, what happens? That can't be a size 1 region. But it also can't bump into the cells on its north or west side, because if it did, these circles would contain the same digit as it and break the rules of Sudoku. So that goes there, definitely. Now, this is okay. This is where it gets trickier, because you can't. This one I know is not a 1. That's true, but that one could be part of the purple. Yeah, so look, you can actually make huge regions just by making sure that as you grow the regions. My phone is buzzing. What's that mean? Oh, hang on, I just need to check that message. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so long as you make sure the circles don't see each other in any regions you build, that's going to work, isn't it? I'm not sure then. Maybe I shouldn't do colours. Maybe I should do... I might switch to doing X's, to be honest. Let me try. Let me see what I've got that in that regard. So I could draw something like that, couldn't I? Something like that. Yeah, so that's got to go out there. That, yeah, that's interesting. So this one can't bump into this one. Neither of these can be 1. And they can't bump into each other, or they contain the same digit in their circle. That, here you go. This one, row 1, column 8, can't bump into a circle in its own row. So that one goes this way, and it can't bump into this one, because they would have the same digit in them. So now look at row 2, column 5. It's been totally hived off. It can only go west. Go west, young man. And don't bump into that one, because that will break the world. So this one has to go south. This one also has to go west, I think. This is very peculiar, but I think that's true. Now what about that one? Yeah, that one goes east. This one... no, I don't know what that one does. That one could go north, I think. But if it goes east, it then couldn't go there. It couldn't go there. But it could just be a 2, couldn't it, I think? No. No, that's wrong, actually. That's interesting. This circle is not a 2. I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't think it is. You can see if it goes north, it clearly isn't 2 because it's already got 3 cells in its region. If it goes there and we make it a 2, so it grows no further. What's this one? Because this one is now not allowed to be 2, but the only way of it growing is to bump into this one, and those 2 circles would contain the same number. So we don't know where this goes, but we do know that digit is bigger than... I'm not pencil marking it, but it's at least 3. That one looks like it's trapped. Oh no, it's not trapped. No, it's not trapped, because this one, I was going to write 2 into it, but look, it could bump... If it turns there, then that's... Well, that's the limit of it. Actually, that cell is restricted. That's an even number, I think. Because it's either 2 and it stops immediately, or it extends, and it can only extend down. It bumps into this one, and now it's of size 4, but there's nowhere else it could extend to. So it is 2 or 4. Now... that one could be massive, because if it starts going a-wandering, Froggy goes a-wandering. If Froggy goes a-wandering down here, then that one could be a very large number probably. Although maybe that traps that in. Hang on. No, we don't want to trap that in, because then it would have to be a 1, which it can't be. So, maybe that can't be bigger than 5 then. I'm not sure about that. Maybe it could do that, but maybe it can't also do this. So what's about this one then? This one, at the moment, it could be a 2. If it grows downwards... No, that doesn't work, does it? Well, no, I think it can grow downwards, but I don't think it can stop having grown down. Oh no, I might... No, I don't think that works. If this was a 3, I think the only way it can be a 3 is it's just those cells. But now wouldn't this one have to be 3 as well? Because it would have to grow upwards, and then that would be a 3, and it would be... we'd have 2 3s, and I think that feels right. So this digit is either 2 or a much bigger number. Now, can we stop it? Can we get a 2-4 pair if we can? Yeah. Okay. So I think this is a 2-4 pair, because if this wasn't a if this isn't 2, then it could be 4. That's fine. It could bump into here. Now, if these were 3, that doesn't matter, because 3 and 4 are not the same number. Knowledge bomb. But how could it be bigger than 4? To be bigger than 4, it can't bump into another circle that would break Sudoku. So it would have to go there. But now this is a 1, which is broken. So there's a 2-4 pair. That's presumably what we're meant to spot in box 3. And that means both of these are at least equal to 3. So if that's equal to 3, no, that can't... I don't think that can be a 3. Although I might be wrong, actually. I'm not sure I am wrong. If that's a 3, we now know this is at least a 5. So how on earth does this pick up at least 5 cells? It's going to have to go... Froggy's going to have to go wandering. It's going to have to do that. And then it's going to have to do that. And now this 3 can't grow anywhere. So that's definitely... So this is a big number, I think. Because if it can't be 3, it's now at least 5. I am prepared to pencil mark that. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So now it definitely doesn't... Well, it's never been able to bump into this. But now this... This is at least 3. And if it's not 3, it's 5. But if it's 5, it's doing that. And then that would be at least 6. Ah, no, I've got to be a bit careful here, actually, with this one. Oh, hang on, now I've got a problem. I've got a problem here. If this is... That would be a 2. That would have to be a 4. No, there's a big problem with this being a big digit, I think. Right, so everything I've been doing so far, I've been sort of doing this sort of shape with this purple thing in order to make it as big as possible. So say it was 5. I was doing that. Now, what I hadn't realised is that's totally impossible. Because if I do that, what number is this? This has to be a 2. What number is this? This has to be a 2 as well. But one of these has to be a 4, which means it has to grow. So we can't do that. Now, if on the other hand I don't take these two together and I try and grow this to be of size 5, for example, well, how on earth do I do that? It's got to go down there, and now this is absolutely trapped in. And yet that has to be at least as 5 as well. So I think that has to be a 3. Now the problem with that is I don't actually think I now know what it does. I think it either joins to this one or this one. But how, if it joined to that one, if it joined to this one, it's really cool, this. It's not, I don't think it's very easy though. So, if it joins to that one, that becomes a 2, that becomes a 4 and joins down there. So this is a 4 now. This is at least a 5. But it can't bump into this, can it? So it would have to join, it would have to go to something like this. Because if it jumped into that or bounced into that, then it would have the same digit in column 9. Maybe it's the case this always has to do a sort of rinky-dink, sort of an n pentomino type arrangement. Or maybe I'm meant to think harder about this stuff. Yeah, I see. Okay, sorry, I missed this before, but let's have a look back in here. One of those is a 2. Neither of them can be 1. And whichever one was not 2 is going to fence the other one in. So imagine this was 3 or higher. It's going to do that and fence this in as a 2. But if this is 3 or higher, it's going to take this square, and now this is a 2. So there's a 2 in one of those squares, which I hadn't realised. And now, where is 2 in row 3? It's in one of these squares. And now these 3 squares are at least 3. But these are now at least 4, because we worked out that was at least a 3. So okay, I'm going to pencil mark it. I don't really have a way of recording this other than just by excessive pencil marking. So these are at least 4. No. Well, this one can't bump into row 5, column 5, otherwise that will contain the same digit. Oh, I don't know. Is this obvious somehow? Probably is. If this is 3, if this is 3, this 5 or higher has to go down there and there. It has to start its journey like that. If this is 3, that's become a 2. This has to be a 4, which means it has to do that. And this still has to grow down this column and not bump into that. So that, I think, is a forced extension of this thing here, which can't go there, can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. So, so this digit now, if it is not a 1, if it's a 2, no, okay, it's not a 2, because if it's a 2, it's going to take those 2 squares, this is going to be a 3, and that's penned in as being a 2 as well. So this is now, it's either 3 joining to this, or it's 4 joining to that. It's one of those two things. This one is 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, and that contains the same digit as this one. This one is not a 1, so that has to go downwards, but it could then just turn. It definitely doesn't go into here. So, oh, I see. Yes, okay. So these ones at the bottom of column 9 are not 1s, so they both have to grow and not bump into each other. So we can do that for certain. Okay, and now this square, what is the size of it? And I don't know the answer to that. So at the moment it's size 2, which probably is fine. It could bump into this, but if it does bump into that one and become of size 3, how would it ever grow from there? Well, it can't bump into this, these two are in the same row. It can't bump into this because these two are in the same column. So it can't grow. So it is 2 or 3. And now these digits at the bottom, well, I was just thinking these can't, one of these is now at least a 5, which feels very tricky to me. I'm not sure though. I mean, how could... No. I was... Ah, look. This one. This one is not allowed to be a 1. And it can't bump into anything in its own box because it'll have the same number in it. So this one goes there. And that's done it. That has done it, because now this square... it can't grow. It just cannot grow because it can't bump into this or these will have the same total. So that's a 2 in the corner. That I feel like singing for that because that was hard. That's a 3. That's a 4, which means it grows, which means it must go and bump into that one, I think. I don't see another way of that working. So that is a region. This 3 must now bump into this. So that is a region. This is now a 2. Oh, that's a bit dull. So that doesn't grow. Well, the 2, though, gives us that digit as a 2. So that's a region by Sudoku. Oh, hang on. I've got to be careful not to do full fillomino would be that and this. And that's definitely not what we're meant to do here. That will certainly break Sudoku rules. But what we can also do, look, is delineate the areas that we do get completed, because I always find that quite satisfying. So I'm going to do this. We don't know how big this is. We do, yes, we do. This is a 3. It's going to have to bump in there. It's the only way it can live and be happy. So we get double 3 here. Oh, okay, 3 is a yellow colour in this version of the world. This 2 is finished. So that can't be a 2 now. So that's got to continue on it. This has got to continue a wandering. That's probably... Well, no, that's great. That's great. What on earth happens to this one? It can't be of size 2, so it must carry on growing. And now it can't grow any further. Because to grow any further, it would take one of those 2 circles. So that is... We haven't got a colour for this, but that's a size 5 region. We've not found any of those yet. So this is a size 5 region. That means 5 is over there by Sudoku. This one is no longer 5, so it's at least 6. So it goes down there. Let's make sure that we record that. We can start to delineate this one. We can draw that in. This can't be a 1, so that's got to grow. Now, this one... Oh, no, that could join up there. Okay. 2 is in one of those squares by Sudoku. Can we do more Sudoku? I don't normally reach for Sudoku, but it's a crutch I might have to rely on. There's a 3 in that circle, so there's a 3 possibly in the corner up in box 1. That's definitely not a 2. I might as well delete the red lines here. This 5 region's done. So we can delineate that. Let's delete the red line, delete the red line, delete the red line, delete the red line. There we go. Makes it just to look a little bit tidier, doesn't it? We don't know what this one is. Do we know? Yes. This one has to grow because it's not a 1 and it can't bump into something that's going to cause offence. Now, I was going to say it can't do that, but that's total gibberish. If it did do that, it would have to grow more, because it obviously couldn't be a 3. Oh, hang on. This one has to grow. So this is either growing that way, or both. How does that work? Well, no. That is interesting, actually. So this, because whichever way this moves, it's going to, if it goes west, it's going to be at least 3. In fact, it's going to be at least 4. And if it goes south, it's going to be at least 3, but it's not allowed to be 3. So again, it's at least 4, and it's not allowed to be 4, look. So actually, and it's not allowed to be 5. That is at least a 6, which that feels like a deduction worthy of its salt. Now, well, so it must go south. It must go south, because if it goes there and bumps into this one, we've got to grow it somehow, and it can't grow. So I don't think I know whether it goes into that square, but I do know it goes down there. And now that's lovely, because that's definitely not a 2. So that's a 2. This square is the same as that, so it's 6, 7, 8, or 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even if it joined up with this one, it still has to take more cells. So it has to go down there. And that's beautiful. That is beautiful, because it cannot now go any further, because it'll bump into this, and these two will have the same digit in them. So I think this has to be a 6. And if it's a 6, it has to join there. And all 3 of those become 6. And this is a totally new colour that we need to pick a colour for. Red. We'll have this as red, and that's delineated, so we can draw that shape in, and we can get rid of the red lines. And we've got Sudoku to do off the back of it, look. That's no longer, oh, hang on, that's no longer a 6 now. So this purple region, yeah, I was just suddenly paused for a moment. I suddenly worried, could this purple region have bumped into this, but it can't. So this purple region is now at least 7, so it does go and bump into this, so that's not a 4. 7, 8, or 9 into this square. And if it goes again, it bumps into this. Right, so these are not 8s, because this is now an odd number of cells. It's either exactly 7, or it bumps into this and becomes 9. It's one of those two things. No, what I was about to say is total and utter gibberish, so I'm not going to say that. I can do that sort of thing, can't I? Okay. I can get rid of 6 from this square. No, I was about to say something that was wrong. Where's 5 in that box? It's there, I think. It's almost getting hard to see the Sudoku regions. Yeah, this box has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in it, so it's got to have 7, 8 and 9 in it. So that's a 7, 8, 9 triple, which would imply that that's 6. Okay, that's something we hadn't known before. Has that really been useful then? That's a 6 by Sudoku, so there's a 6 in box 1 in one of very few positions. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 and 9 into these squares. So that's 7, 8 or 9. C's 5 in the column. We've not, oh, one we don't know about in column 8. Do we know what this is now? Oh, yeah, that's at least a 4. So this grows 3, 4, at least to here, possibly further. I rather fear we're going to be asked to worry about some of these other cluttered circles. How long have I had? 36 minutes. Gosh, that has flown past. It's always, that is the sign, I think, of a brilliant puzzle, is when you just get lost in it. Okay. Don't know where to look. Is there something really obvious? It's probably like that's got to be a 1 or something. Yes. Okay, it is that. But not because I can do that directly. It's because of this digit, I think, which cannot be a 1. So this has to grow, and it can't grow into a circle that sees itself. So it does grow south. And having grown... Oh, no, it can go west. Oh, bother. Well, okay, but that still means that this can't go west, because it would bump into... These two circles share a region, obviously, so that's a 1. That's therefore green. 1 is in one of those squares. 1 is in one of these squares. It's quite hard. Oh no, it's not. I was about to say something that's totally not true. I sort of wanted this to be a 2. On the basis I was going to say, oh no, here's a thought. Here is a thought. If this is not 2, so it could be 2, I think. I'm ignoring Sudoku in reaching that conclusion, but I think that's true. I don't think it can be. I don't think it's prevented from being a 2. So let's say it's bigger than 2. If it's bigger than 2, it does bump into this, but that means these two digits are the same number. And that means by Sudoku they have to go into one of those squares, which would mean these have to be 2, 3 or 5. So that square is 2, 3 or 5. And rather annoyingly, all of those options are on the table. And oh, that's rotten. That doesn't do anything. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look at this one then. Because that can't go south, obviously. It can't go east. And it's not 1. So it is growing. Now, in which direction? Oh, no, I'm wrong. I was about to say it can't go up, but it can. Because I was going to say it couldn't be a 3. But it doesn't have to be a 3, because it could do that. Oh, you rotten thing. Ah, no, but then it would be a 4, maybe. Oh, goodness, this is really complicated. Okay, so how does this grow? Now, if it did grow up, it has to grow, because it's not 1. If it grows upwards, it bumps into this, which is at least a 4. So it's still got to grow. And it can't grow into anything that's going to break it from a Sudoku perspective. So it has to grow like that. And then it has to stop. And it would be a 4. And that's fine for this one, but not fine for this one, which would see that one. So this one here... Oh, whoopsie. This one... Whoops. Which must grow, has to grow west. And then can't do anything. Because it's just totally trapped in. And that's great. Because that being a 2, which is a grey colour, It allows us to delineate it, but much more interestingly, surely, is it gets rid of 2 from this square. And if that can't be 2, it has to grow into this square, which means this is now, whoopsie, 3 or 5. I was going to say that's very useful, but I don't actually know if it is. That's not 2 anymore. That's... oh, hang on. Ooh, what's going on with this? That's a 4 at least, so that's got to go upwards. Which means that's not a 1. These 2 digits are the same, which means, that's interesting. So that digit goes there by Sudoku. And you'd think that would... oh, it does take 4 out of here, actually. Because these have to contain the same number now, we've just worked out. And 1 and 2 are not equal to that number. So this square is 4, 5, 7, 8, or 9. But it's not 4, is it? So those aren't 4 either. So now these are at least 5. Okay. This little triomino that we're starting to build for this region doesn't bump into this, because these would be in the same region. So we can put an X there, and that means we have to extend it. So what does that mean for this one? Is that going to be forced? No, that can't be a 2. Aha! That can't be a 2 because we'd have 2 regions touching one another. So that that's been available for a while, I think. So 2 is in... whoopsie. 2 is in one of these squares. I've actually not been thinking about the don't let things touch if they're the same size rule at all. So where have I missed the opportunity to use that? I can't actually see anywhere now, so maybe I haven't. That's lucky if I haven't missed anything. That circle's interesting. That can't be a 1, 2, 3 by Sudoku. That is at least a 4 and must grow downwards. Don't worry, I'm absolutely prepared to pencil mark it. So that's 4, it can't be 6. Oh, it can't be 5. 4, 7, 8 or 9. If we could get rid of 4, it's got to be enormous. Don't know how easy that is to do, though. Do I know what this is? That's restricted. I think that's 4, 7, 8 or 9 by Sudoku. And we know it's not the same as this. So if that's 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that doesn't work. That's penned this in. It's definitely not 9. 8 might be difficult. 4, 5, 6, 7. No. Again, this is penned in and it needs to grow. I just don't know how it grows. That's not 8. Might be hard for this to be 7. Is impossible. It's still impossible. That is a 4. That's just forced. Now, have we had any 4? Yes, we had a 4 region. It's blue. So blue is our colour for 4. That's a region. So column 6, perhaps? 2, 7, 8, 9. Let's pencil mark it in. This is not 2. So how could that be? Oh, no, it could. Okay, no, if it joined up with this. Oh, no, and this one can join up with that as well. So that actually, that doesn't really help me at all. But... no, don't know what to do with that. Sorry. Does every region has to contain a circle, doesn't it? So I was just thinking then, it's not possible to have a sort of isolated pocket of cells that don't touch a circle with their region. So this row 1, column 1 has to get into a circled region. I mean, it's probably this one, but... What's this then? That is big. That is not 1, 2 or 3 by Sudoku. So that's at least a 4. Where does it go? Well, it's got to go there. It's got to go... Whoopsie, I want a red line. It's got to go there. Now... Oh, no, that's fine. 4, 5, 9, 1, 2... Ah, bobbins. That's probably what it does then. I was just thinking... Obviously, this circle is at least 5, and this circle is at least 4. So between the two of them, they're adding up to 9. But look, there are 9 cells there. So that would be fine. If that's an L tetromino and that's a W pentomino, we're in a happy place, aren't we? So it's not necessarily the case that this comes down and touches that one. In fact, it's quite hard for that to come down and touch this one, because then it's ruled out from being a 4 because of that. So it would then be at least a 5. That square is 5, 7, 8, or 9. This square is 3 or 5, because it's got to have the same number in it as this one. So if it's 5, it's got to start like this. What's that number? That's got the same sort of property. In fact, it's got exactly the same properties as row 6, column 5, because it can't be 1, 2, 3, 5 or 6 by Sudoku, so that's 4, 7, 8 or 9 as well. But I haven't got a clue where that goes. Hang on. No, what I was about to say is gibberish again. I mean, that's a valid X I've just put in. Okay, maybe this is a place to look, because that square is at least a 3. Okay, do I want to pencil mark it? I will, actually, just on the basis that it's not 5 or 6, so the number of pencil marks I'm putting into this square are not totally obnoxious. And I think this has the same property. Can't be 1 or 2. Could absolutely be 3. Could be 4, but can't be 5 or 6, so that's the same. Now, these can't be in the same region, so we can do our standard X. This one has to go west, this one has to go west. This is at least a 3, so it goes west again. And it can't bump into that, can it? But this could be a 1. But that's close to being good. Ooh, here's a thought. This might not be valid, but I've just had quite an interesting thought. No jokes about me at parties, thank you. If that does join that, so if we did that, this one is not allowed to be a 4. And that means that the size of this region would now be at least 7. And it certainly couldn't join this anymore, because this is already 7. 7 plus 4 is 11, which is more than 9. And we can't put more than 9 into any of these circles. So if this does join there, now this has to grow. And if it doesn't join there, it's at least 4, so it still has to grow. So this has to go, I think, at least 2 that way, possibly more. Maybe... No, I mean... Not until we can rule a 4 out from this square can we say that it goes further. But now this one is penned in a bit, so that's got to grow. And now this bottom one, I think, is fenced. Can't bump there, can't bump there. That is just a 3. Nearly. Whoops. Nearly gets us the 3 in box 5. No, I was going to say... Well, this is now at least a 4, so that's got to go another cell. But can that bump into this? Maybe. Hang on, let's go to colours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It couldn't be a 5, so it would have then, if it does bump into this, it's at least 7. But it does seem to be quite some space. Although, what's that doing? Oh, I've not thought about how this one grows. Right, so that one has to grow west. And at least 2, I suppose. Oh, does it connect with this or not? Maverick's just about to fly past. I don't know. Don't know. That's quite interesting though for this one, which I haven't thought about at all. In fact, maybe I should think about this one. That's also got the property that it can't be 1 or 2. The same is true of this square. So one of these is at least a 4. But this one could grow upwards. 4 in box 1 is in one of just 2 places. Hang on. How is this? Ah, this one growing west. Oh, my phone's buzzing. Oh, I'm going to have to think about that. This one growing west to stop this one ever having the opportunity to be 5. That's a 3. Both of these are 3s, which means that's not a 3. So this is a new region, which is a yellow region, and we can delineate it with a black line, and that must do something, he says, trying to. That's ridiculous. I can't see what that does. This is now at least... Well, no, both of these are now at least... These have to be in different regions, and this is at least a 4, and that's at least a... In fact, this one... In fact, let's just pencil mark row 4. This is 5, 7s, 8s, and 9s. So that's at least 5 now. So if that... right... Okay, by my earlier logic, I'm now going to claim this comes down to here. Which actually is interesting for this one. Yes, okay, because what I'm thinking is, if this goes up, it converts this now into at least a 5. But if this was 5, this would be at least 7. Actually, it's not quite as clear, the logic, as I was thinking it was going to be. But obviously if this doesn't go up, it has to go down. If it goes up, it might still work. If this goes up, these two are now... They're either something like 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If this goes up and is 5, these become 7 at least. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this would be 5. Yeah, I don't see how this isn't coming down column 1, at least to here. But I might be wrong. I'm going to keep thinking about this because I'm not sure about this. So what I'm thinking is, option 1 is that it never goes north at all. And it's at least 5. It can't bump into this, so it would have to go down at least to there. That's clearly true. If it goes up, it bumps into this. Now, so then we have to assign a value to this to understand what's happening in box 1. One possibility is it goes up and it just converts this to the minimum it could be, which would be 5, because that's the minimum this could be. But if this does convert to 5, of course it makes this at least 7, and there's only just room for that to exist. This is now 5 and would come down here. If, on the other hand, this is not 5 and converts this into 7 at least, then this can be 5. That's fine. But even if this 7 takes those two squares, it still comes down here. So this thing does go down there. Now that's going to force this one which is at least 4 to join there. So, okay, so that doesn't actually resolve that. It makes this the same as this, which means, oh god, I don't believe it. And I was going to say by Sudoku we're going to get some ramifications from that, but we don't, because 4 could go there by Sudoku, and 7, 8, 9, which is the other opportunity, can go there by Sudoku, so we don't learn anything from that. It's going to be something like, I mean, if this is 9, surely there's not enough space for it to live in the bottom of the grid, is there? 4? 5. Can it join to that? Is that legitimate? No, that's not legitimate actually, because by Sudoku these two digits, well, these two digits would be in the same region, they'd be the same number, so they need to go in one of those 3 squares by Sudoku. They'd have to be 4, 3 or 1, and they're most certainly not 4, 3 or 1 if they're in the 9 region. Right, so if this is 9, it joins, it has to live apart from all of the regions that we've got joined in the grid, so it's going to take almost all the rest of the space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's not enough space. There's just not enough. There's nowhere near enough. There's only 8's worth of space. Yeah, okay, so that's not 9. If it's 8, and this is 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, who can work out what's wrong with that? Oh. Okay, that doesn't look very good. Actually, there's another point here I hadn't even considered. Am I not going to end up with the same number in these 2 squares if I'm not very careful here? Wow. Wow. Yeah, okay, there's a problem here. Golly, this is very, very cluttered. But I am now of the view that this is a 4, but it's complicated. Okay, here is my thinking. If this is any number other than 4, how does it grow? Well, it has to take those squares at least. So it would be of this dimension. It could also take the corner, but it's at least of this dimension. Now, how do we therefore allocate values that don't break the world to all of these other regions? Let's start with this one. Now, row 8, column 5, at the moment it's of size 4. Its only opportunity to grow is to take this square now, which would make it a 5 region, which it's not allowed to be. So it cannot grow and is a 4. But now this region is not allowed to be a 4. So how does it grow to a size that it can actually achieve? It would have to take this square, which makes it now a size 6, which is not allowed to be because of this. It can't grow into this because then we're going to have a region that's just a ginormous size. So it just doesn't work. So actually, it's maybe not as complicated as I thought. We can, I think, claim that this is 4, which means that is not 4. So one of these is a 4, not necessarily the circle. This region is done. 4 regions we know are blue, so we can immediately delineate it, and we will. And now, what is going on with this one, which is 7, 8, or 9? That's extreme. Oh, no, hang on. We're going to go for easier fruit. There's a 4 by... No, it's not great, actually. There's a 4 by Sudoku here. This now is at least a 5. So, yes, that's gorgeous. So now, we know this is at least a 5. We know this is at least a 5. There's only 9's worth of space there. So actually, this has to escape. This has to come down. Which may not actually do anything. It's got to be the same as this now, so that digit's got to go down there. But if that was 5 exactly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that could be a 7. Okay, let's come back to this one then. That's at least 7. It's going to pick up those squares at best, which would make it only of size 6, so it definitely takes another cell over here. What we really want is to know where the 1 is in box 7. I mean, if neither of these was 1, that would have to grow up. No, that couldn't be the case. One of these is a 1. Because if they both grow, that grows to there, this grows and can grow no further, and this has to be a 5 region, which it can't be. Oh, look, I've got a 3 region I've not coloured. I was thinking that felt wrong. But now it should feel better. There we go. Clocked over the hour. I don't know how. That's just flown past. 7, 8, 9. And my window rattles eerily as I try and work out what to do next. Yeah, okay, so one of these is a 1. Which means that's not a 1, that's not a 1, this is a 1. Which means that's a 1. Don't tell me that's not doing anything. I won't be surprised. 2, 3, there's a 4 down here, so this is from... Oh, that's from 7, 8 and 9, and that's not interesting, is it? Hang on. If that is not a 1, oh no, then that can be a 1, and that's okay. But that would be at least a 4. And it would join to this, which would make it not able to be a 4, so this would now be at least a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is how that would have to look. But this... Oh no, that could be the right size. Oh, but... Well, no, it couldn't be. I mean, that again, that's super complicated. That is super complicated. Right. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. And this might be wrong. So, I'm thinking if this is a 1... What number are we going to assign to this? Which is now, you can see it's at least a 4. So it has to grow upwards and hit this. But now in hitting this, we have a 5 region, which can't be a size 5 region. So we're now in at least the worlds of 7 regions. How do we get this to be a 7 region? We have to extend it like that. That's the only way it can go and become a 7 region. It can grow no larger. So it is a 7 region. And now... let's just pencil in that 7 region. What on earth do we put in this square? This is a size 5 region at the moment. That's not big enough. It can only grow to those 2, and it becomes a 7 region. And you get 2 7 regions touching one another, which won't work. So that is, I think this is unfortunately not going to do quite the magic that we hoped. That is the one which we can delineate. Which means this square now is at least a 4. So it does grow up. Oh, hang on, bobbins. This is at least a 4. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's probably, I think, going to bump into this, but I'm not certain. So maybe actually... Oh no, this can't bump into this thing. Oh, hang on, that's... Oh, hang on, have I got a problem now? Because this thing that's coming down column 1 can't bump into this thing because it would share a circle. So how does this get to be of size 4? Well, it's either joining to that or it's joining to that is the answer. now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That doesn't look unreasonable. Yeah, and then this could perhaps be 7. And this could perhaps be slightly larger. How can that one be 9? 1, 2, there's not nearly enough space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, look, that square is 5 or 7 only. Which means that square is 5 or 7 only. Oh, come on, that's so close to being good. Wow. Oh wow, that was so close to being clever, wasn't it? And unfortunately, I don't know what to do with that. Bother. Okay, so we're going to have to come up with something more intelligent. Where do we look for that? It's not impossible at this juncture. It is Sudoku, you know. Wouldn't surprise me very much. Wait a minute. No, that's a bad thought. Yeah, we can probably get rid of some of the bigger digits from some of these options. What's this square then? This is either 2 and sits on its own, 9 because it joins with this, or no, I suppose it could be 8 or 7 if it joins with this and it's the correct size. Maybe we can get rid of some options from this square, because we said this might join with that, be a size 6 or 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It can never be 9. It can never be 9. It's not big enough. Why has that? So hang on, if this one here joins with that one, let's just sketch that in. Because I've realised this is of size 6, but this isn't allowed to be of size 6. Oh, it's the same problem again. I think, I'm not sure. But yeah, so if this one joins to this one, we get a size 6 region which we can't abide because 6 can't go into this circle. So this has to grow again. Where does it grow? It's going to have to grow there, and that's going to be it's the limit of its ability to grow. And now this is a 7 and that's a 7 again. That's ridiculous. That's so clever. I should have seen that before. I was thinking along the right lines, just didn't have the gumption or the wherewithal to realise what was going on. So in fact that's big. That's big for another reason, because now this, which is at least of size 4, the only thing it can join to is that. So that is now a new region. And can that grow any larger? It's of size 8. No, it can't take any another domino, because that will be of size 10. So that's beautiful. So we get an 8 there and an 8 there. 8, we've not sniffed having an 8 region before. So we should have a totally new colour for that, which will make it light green. We can tidy up some pencil marks. This, well, look at that region. That's been forced to be a size 4 region now, so that's another nice bonus. We can draw all of that in. I still don't know whether this is 2 or 9, but it is only 2. It is only 2 or 9 now. It depends which way it goes. Where does 8 go? In that box by Sudoku, it goes there, which places a 4. We know that's a 4 because it's got the right total. 4 goes here, which means 5 is shifted over. That's not 8 anymore. So it's 6, 7 and 9 that we've got to place in row 9. And if that's... Oh, hang on. Hang on, I don't like this pencil mark. That is... I can't believe that's correct as a pencil mark. I think I've probably extrapolated this one into that one. I'm going to go back and look at that. Yeah, that's what I did. Look. So I noticed that this square now is 2 or 9, which is correct. But what I do is I adjust both of those digits by that deduction, which is absolutely nonsense. This is 2 or 9. That's totally reasonable. But in this column, this is 2, 7 or 8 or 9. But now the only place for 8 in the column is there, so that's an 8. And that's fine. It's okay, but it's not really nearly as useful. Because I want to know whether this joins up to that. I don't know how we're ever going to learn that. This square now is not 8. Oh, so it's going to be something to do with the amount of space left at the top of the grid. Oh, this is beautiful. If this is how this works, we just have to... Yeah, we've only got 2 regions up here because we filled in all the circles. So the... what have we got? 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so we've got 12's worth of white spaces. And this is a 5 or a 7. So this is also a 5 or a 7. Because these two together, these have to add up to 12. That gives me a 5, 7 pair in row 3, which means that is a 9, and that's a circle, so that's a 9, that's a 9. And now this grow, oh, it's beautiful. That's my favourite bit of the puzzle so far. That is absolutely beautiful. And I've enjoyed this very much, but that is sick. So now we get those digits done. Okay, so that's not 7, obviously. 9 in box 5 goes there, so that should be a 5. Where does 8 go in row 5? It's only going there, so that's all fixed. That's a 7. I don't want to speak too soon, but I do feel a bit like we've just made quite an important breakthrough there. I really hope that turns out to be true, because that would be a lovely final step. Well, also, oh no, we don't know. How are we going to know? We're going to need Sudoku to help us. How outrageous. Okay, so maybe we try 5 and 7 in column 5. Well, that is a bit interesting, because that gives me a 5, 7 pair there. So these are an 8, 9 pair, which we don't apparently know the order of. Bother. Oh, look, there's a 9 here. So that's a 6, that's a 9, that's a 7 by Sudoku. So that should be a 2. That's a 7, that's a 5, that's a 7, that's a 5, and that's now a region that we've isolated over on that side of the grid, and 5 is an orange colour, so let's put that in. This is just all of that space. Now we do have a 7 region or not? I don't think we do. We have a 9 region. I don't think we do have a 7 region, so I'll have to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we did need one of every colour, including my notoriously... When I'm putting that in, it almost looks like the grid's moving. My notoriously difficult to see black colour. Right, okay, but that's a 7 now, so that's going to do some work. So we get 7 and 5. We get 5 here. We've got this is where 1 goes. This is, I think that's been available for a while. I didn't use this 1 down here, look. So that's giving us a 1 there. This row needs 6 and 9 in it. Let's put that in. That's definitely not 9 or 5. So this is in fact 8 now. That's 7. Where does 7 go? In that box it goes there. 2, 3, 5, 6, I think. So that's not 6. We're going to get oh no, we don't. We get a 3, 6 pair. I was about to announce the 3 in the corner, and it went the other way. Okay, so that's 9, 9, 8, 8. I think that's stupendously clever. What a construction that is. Can we see anything wrong? Have I filled in all the digits? Let's see. Yes, it's correct. You solved the puzzle. It's taken me 1 hour and 15 minutes. Well, that's flown by. Absolutely flown by. 83 people in 53 days. Brilliant. Aspartagcus, take another bow. That was so clever. I mean, it's so very well created. Those clusters of circles and the way you could sort of grow them and figure out where they must go. It's beautiful, and the finish was lovely. White squares in the top left. I really like that. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.